Welcome to the Living the Wisdom of the Qur'an podcast. I'm your host, Mir Ali Shah. Step inside. The house is warm, and today we're exploring an argument about time, patience, and the things we think we can buy our way out of. Our story begins with a heckler. In the opening verses of Sūrat al-Maʿārij, a man stands in mockery and dares a divine punishment to fall. He demands that the sky shatter right in front of him, right now, as proof. The verse leaves his taunt hanging in the air. But instead of striking him with a lightning bolt, the text delivers a strange instruction. It turns away from his demand for destruction and asks him to practice patience, specifically, beautiful patience. It is easy to look at that man and see a distant historical figure. But under the theology, he is holding up a mirror. We all carry an internal stopwatch that categorizes profound spiritual realities as far away. We look at the things that require deep change, and we log them safely into the distant future. Because we treat our reckoning as remote, we frantically accumulate material wealth to secure ourselves in the near. We lock away our resources, our time, and our compassion. But the frantic gathering we do to feel safe buys us absolutely nothing when the thing we feared finally arrives. So how do we reconcile the massive gap between what we feel is safely distant and the reality that is already at our doorstep? We have to throw out the heckler's stopwatch and look at God's calendar. Classical scholars resolved the math of the divine timeline. 50,000 human years collapses into a single day. Distance is erased. Modern psychology agrees. Fear rewrites time, making events feel drastically longer. Time is a mental construction, and the mind performs it badly. To shatter this illusion of distance, the surah uses cosmic spectacles. It describes the sky turning to molten metal and mountains drifting like dyed wool. These images administer a dose of awe. Research shows that being made to feel small before something vast reliably shrinks the outsized human ego. For classical mystics, this awe points inward. They see the ascending ways not as physical ladders, but as a map of the soul. These are the spiritual stations of the heart, the slow, deliberate steps by which a heavy soul returns to its creator. In that light, beautiful patience becomes a rigorous discipline. It is the active practice of elevating your soul by filing your complaints away from other people and offering them only to God. When that cosmic reality finally breaks into our ordinary lives, what actually happens on an intimate human level? The first horror the surah describes isn't fire, it is silence. It is a moment where the familiar world dissolves, and a close friend does not turn to ask if you are all right. The text bypasses physical flames to expose the trauma of social severing. Look at this map of a neural circuit reacting to social exclusion. Neurological data shows that when a bond is severed, the brain's dorsal anterior cingulate and anterior insula flare with the exact same raw distress as physical burning. The surah reaches for the wound of isolation before it reaches for flame, because to the brain, they are the same injury. Faced with this absolute vulnerability, the guilty man panics. He tries to bargain his way out. He offers his wealth, his sons, his wife, the clan that raised him, and everyone on earth as ransom. The offer is refused before he finishes making it. The mystic al-Ghazali offers a chilling diagnosis for why this bargaining fails. The text says of fire specifically calls the hoarder. It calls him because the man had already built that fire inside his own chest through a rigid, lifelong reflex of clutching and never letting go. The hoard that damns him isn't the physical money or the goods he locked away. The hoard is the constricted, suffocating shape his soul took when his hand forgot how to open. This spiritual diagnosis maps cleanly onto modern research. Decades of data confirm that tying our values to the frantic accumulation of material wealth drives down our overall well-being. The things we gather to feel safe consistently fail to provide the safety they promise. But folded into the grammar of the surah is a profound hope. The text says the fire calls the hoarder. A call, unlike a finalized sentence, implies a summons, and a summons implies that the individual still has the free will to turn around and answer it differently. Look closely at the stopwatch in your own chest, the one keeping track of what is urgent and what can wait. What have you falsely filed away under far away? A conversation you meant to have? A person you assume is forever? A forgiveness you are hoarding? Try a quiet practice. For the next 7 nights, take one of those delayed obligations, an overdue apology, an unkept promise, and state aloud, "This is close." Recalibrate a timeline that has been running slow on purpose, and watch how those far things begin to move. Owner of the ascending ways, let us climb by a rope you lower. Teach us the beautiful patience that keeps no ledger of its wounds. What we have filed as far, show us near. And loosen this hand that only knows how to lock away until it finally remembers how to open. Amen.